I will call the first person up. First, I'm going to introduce a topic. That first person will either answer the question, tell a story for 1 to 2 minutes. Then that person will turn it over to the person sitting directly next to them. So we're not going to call for volunteers. So whoever I call first, just know that person next to you, you're going to go. Okay? Also, I also want to point out, remember, word of the day, gregarious. Remember, we're taking the gregarious approach today. Also, remember, we have an eye counter. That eye counter will be clicking. What will you be doing, Mark? There we go. The topic of today. A lot of us have the propensity on our first day of work. We come in, we eat our peanut butter and jelly, we stay to ourselves, right? However, we want to find out, how was your first day of work, Ingrid? So, we won't start with you. Sandy, come up here and tell us about your first day at US Foods.
First day of work, I was hired as a customer service rep in US Foods. Actually, it was Kraft Foods at the time. And I was very nervous. Okay, why am I getting clicked? I don't get it. I was very nervous, as I am now, and I began my work as a customer service rep and was very nervous. I learned how to, they were bringing in a new system, and they wanted us to begin taking orders over the phone. They were implementing a lot of divisions into Kraft Food Service as centralized customer service. So we began our process of learning what we needed to do on the phones. The call would come in, and we would take over taking the orders over the phone. So that was my first day.
First day, like tackled on to Sandy's first day?
No, your first day.
My first day. My first day at US Foods, we were in a room in the old building. I started about 4 years ago, so most of you are from the old building, one of the 3 that we had. We were in this enclosed space. It was a group of about 6 to 7 people. And I walk in and I'm nervous, like anyone. It's new. I just came from public accounting with a lot of friends, a lot of fun, and here I am, a whole new group, different people, don't know anyone, and they were great. They took me to Cafe Boa for lunch on the first day, which was delicious and still one of my favorites today. And then just learning all the processes, reading through documentation, learning about the company, and not really knowing anyone. And that's done. Thank you.
First day at US Foods. I was in, what building do you call it? Sunrise, Sunset, something. It was across the street from the main building in old building. We've gone through what, 3, 4, 5 at building temporary. I really can honestly say I didn't know anybody because I was as well locked in a room in training. It was, and I remember, me and Michelle with the trainer, his name, something Randall, something like that. And I honestly didn't know anyone because everyone was outside in the big room full of a lot of people that you just stared at each other because the way the desks were, you kind of like looked at, you feel like you're typing and you're like, this is so odd, I'm just staring at you, but really I'm not staring at you. So the arrangement was kind of weird. But I have to say, it was a good one. I thought, okay, I could do this. It was completely different than my previous jobs of working within the furniture industry. So I could tackle this, and it was fun. Still here 11, 12 years later.
My first day at US Foods. I had just moved here from Michigan, and I was worried that it was going to take me a long time to find a job. So I was new to the area and didn't have a lot of contacts or didn't know where the jobs were. So I went to a temp agency. They called me about 2 weeks later and asked me if I could start like the coming Monday. And I thought, oh, I want to take a vacation before I start a job. But I figured I better not pass this one up. So I was at the old building. I was very excited to find the job and start there. I think there were about 15 of us that were all temps, and I was hired in as vendor admin. And we sat in the room, the basic classroom all day. And I remember the one girl up front kept falling asleep. Did she really want this job? I think she made it about a week or so. I'll be here 4 years in June now, but yes, that was my first day. Thank you.
Shelley, next, tell us about the time she spent in the room.
My first day at US Foods, we were actually Alliant Food Service, and I was in the Sunrise building as a collection coordinator. Tough job. I originally came into the building and there were two managers, and it was like, which one am I working for? Because the position I thought I was getting was not where I ended up. So that was the first, I guess, the adjustment to, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing. And as a collections coordinator, my job was to get on the phone with drivers, TMs, customers occasionally, and try and collect. Very difficult position, but I stuck with it. Went into third-party collections. That was dealing with lawyers, dealing with division credit managers, and then from there, I moved on. And I decided, you know what, I want something different. I became an administrative junior assistant. And now, I've been with the company 6 years then. I took a 5-year break, and I've been back almost 5 years in April.
My name is Gail Howard, and my first day was many, many years ago. It was 25 years ago, and I as well started at US Foods when it was Craft Food Service. And my biggest memory of back then was I got hired on the day it was 122 degrees here. It was in June. The airports quit flying, and so I have a vivid memory of that day that I got hired. When I started, there was only a few people that worked here, and I work in IT, and the computers were separated all over the country, and the IBMs were in Chicago, and the West Coast Phoenix divisions were in Phoenix, and everything on the East Coast, TANA divisions were in Columbia, Maryland. And so, oh man. But there was a lot of people that worked here a long time ago, and I worked in operations, and I started nights, and there was actually 3 people that worked here, and one of them who worked days was a man named Tom. I worked the split shift, and there was a guy named Andre that worked at night. And my career with US Foods, I've been very grateful for US Foods. They've done very good with me, and I don't think I would ever leave here. I'm going to retire here, so thank you.
Good job, everyone that came up here and presented on our amphitheater. I would like to turn it back over to our Toastmaster of the Day, Terrence.